All right, well, good afternoon, prudent speculators. Last day of the quarter. It's Friday, September 30th, 2016. I always talk pretty fast. I'm going to talk really fast tonight because I got a lot to cover and hopping a plane to Las Vegas, actually tomorrow morning, but I still got a lot to cover. All right, before we get going, you know the drill here. If you watch these videos and you just want to advance by 20 seconds, you can do that because that's about how long it takes me to tell you that these videos and broadcasts are for educational purposes only. Nothing is meant as a solicitation to buy or sell any security. Trading, especially the trading in derivatives products like futures and options, which is what I trade and discuss, is extremely risky. It's not suitable for all traders and investors. And you can go to vptlive.com/notices for more information about our risk disclosures and disclaimers. All right, I'm going to grab the handy dandy pen and write down what I want to cover tonight so I don't forget. The first thing is XIV. We've been talking about XIV for the last 3 or 4 videos. That's the chart that I have up right there. After that, I'll do the 25K challenge. It's back by, it's not the 25K, it's the 25 challenge, which is only $2,500. Had a lot of requests for managing smaller accounts directionally. And then we'll finish off with our Kerpos in the 25K challenge. Now, I'll still mention the model portfolio, which is where we track things like XIV. You cannot be short XIV in a $2,500 account. So that's what we want to cover tonight. Before I get going, it just makes me think of, just finished watching Options Action, I think that's what it's called, on CNBC. I mean, they're well intentioned, and I guess they try to keep it at a level in which they introduce people to what options are and take a few trades, but for half an hour, the amount of trades and stuff they actually cover is leaves me wanting a lot more. So we're going to cover a lot more directional plays here in just probably about a 3 or 4 minute video. I don't know why I got off on that tangent. I had a note here that was a little bit more insightful than how that came out. So let me get rid of this. Okay, we're looking at a chart of XIV. You can reference back to previous broadcasts where I talk about XIV a lot. And actually, we had another snapback day. So it's been 4, 5, 6, 7 years of snapbacks, whether they're on a weekly or monthly chart, or very often on a daily chart. We see the market decline for some reason. Sometimes it hits a key moving average or a structure. Sometimes it doesn't. But then, really, the day or the next day just wipes out the entire move. So yesterday it was about Deutsche Bank concerns for a single day. We had Brexit concerns. Of course, that was a whipsaw of all time probably. And then, of course, we had our January and February action that just recovered within 30 days to go back to all-time highs. So one of the ways we can play that is through volatility and by being short the XIV. I won't go into it all here today. Covered a lot yesterday, and there was a cover here for 100 shares at 35.79 for more at 35.65. But the trade today was sold 200 more, so it got short right around 38. So we've been playing in this range. If you just look at this chart here, you want to be a seller at 38, and you can cover down here at, let's just call it 35 to 36. So little 2-point ranges here. It's not a matter of if, it's just when it will break out of this range. If we see the S&P get a stronghold here and march higher and volatility get under 12 for a sustained period of time, this will probably go back up to around 42, in which I will be more than happy to sell even more. So I keep a core short position in XIV, and I added some more back today. Again, you can reference the last couple of videos, especially the one where I mentioned exiting Twitter for more on XIV. All right, so let's get rid of that. Here's the chart on XIV. This is a 60-minute chart. This was yesterday when the market sort of rolled over pretty suddenly when there was this concerns about Deutsche Bank. Probably not liquidity, but I guess some news about some hedge funds pulling some assets or asking for guarantees or different third-party risk over there. And then today, that's kind of off the table, or the news flow was better, so volatility dropped and the XIV popped right back up. Which, by the way, I don't discuss it here very much, but there are definitely ways in which you can invert both. You can be short VXX on days in which the volatility pops and you are getting profited on XIV, and then you can do the inverse on the other days. It's a little complicated, so again, I just keep on my XIV position. But you know me, I talk about always this VXX, UVXY, TVIX. Just short them every opportunity you get. Anytime you see a pop in volatility where you're making some money on your XIV because it's inverse, you can look to take off some of your VXX. Okay, now I wanted to touch on the 25 challenge. Oh man, did I actually close that? Looks like I closed the entire thing. Sorry about that. Let me open it up again, because we're doing this at Options House, which used to be Trade Monster. It's where we keep our model portfolio, but it just yesterday moved in some money into this live account over here. Let's go to accounts and positions. There we go. Okay, so let's cover the CurPos real quick. These are some opportunities. Some have some adverse excursion or price improvement opportunity. Most of them don't because I just entered most of them today. So here we go. Just go through them real quick. So I'm essentially long gold. Got some nice structure down here. We have the 127 calls. Those are a little closer to the money. Before I had the 128 calls. So those are 10 of the 127 October calls. You can see our cost basis is right where they closed. Mylan, I haven't talked much about Mylan, I think, on the feed here. I won't have time today to look at the chart. If you're following the markets very closely, you're probably aware that Mylan's in the news, in the crosshairs of the legislators, the same brilliant people today that said they're going to try to break up Wells Fargo. So 40 has been good support in Mylan. It broke 40. It's now looking like it needs to really hold 38. We're out in November, plenty of time. As I often say, if you're going to make a sports bet, it's best if your team gets behind in the first quarter or the first half. That's certainly what's going on here with Mylan. And it's pretty close to our entry. We got in about 77. I actually exited some today at 85. Now the key with this is, again, this is the 25 challenge, so it's $2,500. We do about 25 trades in a month. That's generally, we're doing about a trade a day. Sometimes those are a couple trades a day. We do not violate the day trader rules, so we're never going to do more than 3 day trades in a 5-day period, so you don't have to worry about that. And it's all directional. All directional. So again, it's been a while since I've talked about this 2,500 challenge, but that's what we got going on in here. So let's see here. I kind of violated it. I have a little bit more than $2,500 in here, I guess, because I'm like, wow, the market value, this is $3,200. All right, so I will get it back down to under $2,500, so we're doing it by the letter of the law. I get filled on a couple positions here. So about the QQQ puts, the 118s at the close, those are up a little bit, about 15%. And just like Mylan, we have a special situation in Wells Fargo. Hopefully this blue comes out okay against the black. Let me do this. I think I can switch this to styles, white. You want to go white? Once you go white, what's it going to do? There we go. I think that'll be a little bit easier to see with the pen. Awesome. We'll see how that ends up looking. All right. So now we'll grab our pen again. And Wells Fargo is also special situation stock if you're following the news flow there, fraudulent accounts or phony accounts or what have you. But it also has some nice triple bottom support. That was one position that was actually, look at that drawing, has a triple bottom look at about 45. So it's a little bit below that now. Carter Braxton-Worth covered it tonight on Options Action if you watch that show. And I'm looking to fade this move in the XLE. Terrible trade last, well, not terrible, but we had 50 contracts of the XLE 68 calls. Can you say calls? Sold them for about 125 to 150 where we got in, and an hour later they were at 250 on that OPEC news. Those things happen. The reason I'm upset with that was that really should have been an exit of about half and then a scale to break even. And for some reason I was just frustrated with that position and got out of all of it because oil inventories had come out and it was looking kind of ugly, but that was unfortunate. But now we flipped it the other way, and I'm on the 68 put at 50 cents. You can see that closed up a little bit. So little gain today, not significant. I do have to take some of these positions off probably on Monday, Tuesday, so we can get down to something close to our $2,500 starting, and then that's what we'll track. So I'll still talk about XIV in our model portfolio. Again, you can't short something like XIV over here. But 2,500 challenge, gold, 10 Mylan, 5 QQQ puts, 5 Wells Fargo calls, and 10 XLE puts. So, and again, the thing that makes this a little different than some of those fine media outlets is these are more positions than they'll cover probably in 3 shows. And believe me, these things are going to move. They're going to move around. So we're not going out to December and trying to play some earnings play conservatively on the SPY being, you know, at 218 in December or some nonsense like that. All right, I'm generally not that critical. All right, everybody, have a super weekend. This is Trader Rod of VPT Live. If you'd like to find out more about how we do trade options and futures for daily income, you can go to vptlive.com. And since the 25 challenge is back in light, just sort of hunt around a little bit. I can't remember exactly where it is, and this video is going long, so I won't well, maybe I will. Come over here and this is going to be pretty pathetic if I can't even find it on my own site. The 25 challenge. You know what? I know it's on the blog. Here you go. Go to the blog and there's a little. There we go. That's the 25 challenge. By the way, the thing's a little out of date. How I double 2,500 account every month. That's I do it very often, but that was kind of a high goal. So I do the best I can. That's how I do the best I can with a $2,500 account trading options on a monthly basis. So that's kind of what it should read, but that's not quite as exciting. So get a little bit of license there for hyperbole. All right, now we'll leave it there for now. Have a super weekend, everybody, and trade like you mean it. We will see you at the next broadcast.